All right, well, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Leavenworth City Commission meeting tonight and ask if you could please silence or turn off your cell phones, and would like to also remind everyone that our meetings are televised every day on Channel 2 and available for viewing at 6 p.m. at midnight and also on YouTube. And with that, we'll go ahead and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a sound prayer. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. All right, we'll kick off with a couple of proclamations here. All right, anybody representing the United Way?
There they are.
Feel free to share some comments afterwards, too. So.
Don't let him start talking.
Oh, yeah. I'm on it.
All right. United Way months. Whereas the city of Leavenworth, Kansas, hopes that all of its citizens enjoy healthy, productive, and meaningful lives, and whereas the United Way of Leavenworth County advances a common good by creating opportunities for a better life for everyone, and whereas the United Way of Leavenworth County focuses on education, income, and health, which are building blocks for a good quality life, because we all win when a child succeeds in school, when families are financially stable, and when people are in good health, and whereas it takes every part of the community, individuals, businesses, and organizations to supply the passion, expertise, and resources needed to create lasting change for the better. And last year, Leavenworth citizens and those of Leavenworth County generously contributed their volunteer energies as well as more than $220,000 to the United Way of Leavenworth County, thereby investing in programs and initiatives that improve lives and build stronger communities. And whereas the United Way of Leavenworth County kicks off its annual campaign during the months of September through December to unite the community and enhance the lives of those living in Leavenworth, Kansas. Now, therefore, I, Griff Martin, Mayor of the City of Leavenworth, Kansas, hereby proclaim the months of September through December as United Way months. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Just on behalf of the United Way of Leavenworth County and the board, we thank you so much for all your generosity, for just this being you. I always say Leavenworth is such a giving community, and we are so appreciative of United Way, and we just encourage you to keep giving. Thank you.
All right, Fire Prevention Week. Thank you. All right. Whereas the city of Leavenworth is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living and visiting our city, and whereas fire is a serious public safety concern both locally and nationally, and homes are the locations where people are at greatest risk from fire, and whereas home fires killed more than 2,700 people in the United States in 2022, according to the National Fire Protection Association, NFPA, and fire departments in the United States responded to 360,000 home fires, and whereas smoke alarms sense smoke well before you can, alerting you to danger in the event of fire in which you have as little as 2 minutes to escape safely. And whereas the City of Leavenworth Fire Department is dedicated to reducing the occurrence of home fires and home fire deaths and injuries through prevention and proper education, and whereas the City of Leavenworth residents are responsive to public education measures and are able to take personal steps to increase their safety from fire, especially in their homes, and whereas the 2024 Fire Prevention Week theme, Smoke Alarms, Make Them Work for You, effectively serves to remind us of the importance of having working smoke alarms in the home. Now, therefore, I, Griff Martin, Mayor of the City of Leavenworth, Kansas, hereby proclaim October 2nd, 6th through 12th, 2024 as Fire Prevention Week, and urge all the people of Leavenworth, Kansas to protect their homes and families by heeding the important safety messages of fire prevention, Week 2024, and to support the many public safety activities and efforts to Leavenworth's fire and emergency services. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
smoke detectors down there that people who own homes can come get those. Sometimes we get calls that people aren't working. We'll also go put a battery in for people also. I just wanted to take just a minute just to kind of, this time of year, Fire Prevention Week in October, it's always the week that has the 9th in it. That's the time we really focus on fire safety and go to the schools and things like that. And it's kind of, there was a fire, they called it the Great Chicago Fire in 1871, that it started on October the 8th, burned for 3 or 4 days. It consumed in Chicago 2,100 acres, including 17,500 structures, left 100,000 residents homeless. It damaged an estimated $222 million in 1871. Today, that'd be $5.7 million, or $1 billion actually today. And the story goes that Mrs. O'Leary's cow knocked over a lantern in the barn, and they think that's what started the fire. But anyway, it consumed a lot. And then 50 years later, in 1921, Woodrow Wilson, the 28th president, issued the first Fire Prevention Day, which was October 9th. And then in 1922, William Harding, the 29th president, proclaimed Fire Prevention Week. And then in 1925, Calvin Coolidge, the 30th president, proclaimed the first National Fire Prevention Week, which is always a week in October that consumes October the 9th. So that's kind of the history of that. So.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
All right, and we'll go ahead and move on to old business, consideration of previous meeting minutes from September 10th, 2024, regular meeting. There's no questions?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the City Commission regular meeting of the City Commission of Tuesday, September 10th.
Second.
Okay, motion's been seconded. We'll begin voting with Commissioner Bowder.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passed
I didn't notice her over there.
5-0. That's all right.
It's like, what?
Second consideration ordinance, item 3, number 8250, adopts standard traffic ordinance 51st edition.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioner, this item is before you for second consideration. There have been no changes or questions since the last reading, and it's ready to proceed if you are.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, so on our roll call vote, you state your name with your vote.
Edward Hingula, aye.
Wilson, aye.
Mayor Martin, aye?
Mayor Pro Tem Pittman, aye.
Bowder, aye.
All right, 5-0. Item 4, second consideration ordinance 8251, adopt Uniform Public Offense Code 40th edition.
Again, Mr. Mayor, this item is before you for second consideration. There have been no changes or questions since the previous reading, and it's ready to proceed.
Okay, same roll call vote as last time then. Started with Commissioner Bowder.
Bowder, aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Pittman, aye.
Mayor Martin, aye?
Leavenworth City Commissioner Jermaine Wilson, aye.
And Ed Hingula, aye.
All right, 5-0. Public comment. Sarah?
Yes, we have one, Mr. Thomas Jones.
Okay, so if you go ahead and, when you come up to the podium, if you could go ahead and state your name and address, and if we could keep comments limited to 2 to 3 minutes, that'd be great.
Yes, my name is Thomas Jones. I live at 2200 Maple Avenue, Leavenworth, Kansas. I think my wife sent all of you an email about our driveway. We built a house. The driveway, I guess, failed inspection, on final inspection to get a permit to inhabit. When the driveway was poured, the contractor called out the city to inspect one part of the driveway, and they asked them about the other part of the driveway, and they said, oh, everything looks good. They poured the concrete, and then on final inspection, they came and said, this doesn't meet ADA requirements. So they're saying we have to tear out the driveway, tear out the sidewalk, and lower it about a foot to get it level with the street, which to me is going to cause a tripping hazard, and, you know, to me it's going to be make me more liable if somebody falls. The city will be liable also because they're the ones that poured the concrete in the beginning. So we were just asking for a variance to be able to keep the driveway the way it is, so we don't have to tear it out and replace it.
And all the other driveways down the
Maple
street,
Avenue are all the
they're
same
all
way.
pretty much the same way. Everybody's driveway butts up against the sidewalk that the city poured, and it was not ADA compliant when they poured it.
8 years
And that's
ago.
all we did was butt up to what was already there.
Yeah. Now, the part where we tore the sidewalk out and re-poured, it is ADA compliant. It's level, but the part that we just butted up to, they said it's
Whatever the
fine.
city, yeah.
And the city engineer also said that it would be fine as long as we didn't have a driveway going to it. But since we butted up to it, now they want it lowered. If we hadn't have butted up the driveway to it, they said, oh, it's fine for an entrance and exit.
But yet on inspection.
But on
they said-
inspection, they said
They told
no.
our contractor it's fine.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, can I intervene?
Sure.
I did receive your email this morning. Based on that, I initiated a review with Mr. Faust. I had some conversations with him. I got a great deal of information. I sent some of that to you. About midday today, I spoke with Mike Riley, who was involved in the process.
Yeah,
I'm
he
getting
was our
more.
builder.
Right, I'm getting some more information from him. So I'm reviewing the matter and working on some solutions or options available that might be able to help. And so if you give me a few days on that, I'll be glad to maybe help. But Mr. Jones, when I replied to the email this morning, it wasn't accurate. So before you guys leave, if you could see the deputy chief back there and give him name and number, so I'll call you in the morning.
Say, Holly Pittman replied. I mean, that was,
Did you personally type in the email address?
No, I just replied.
so
So,
Holly, she replied, and we got her reply.
Yeah.
okay. So if you could just leave the number,
Okay.
I'll reach out tomorrow. We'll see if we can't work through some solutions maybe.
Thank you.
Yep. Sound good?
Thanks for coming.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Pat. All right, anyone else? Okay, then we'll move on to general items. Item 5, 2024 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistant Grant Application.
Our interim chief in just a second, Mr. Mayor.
Yep. Good evening.
Mayor, Mark, and fellow commissioners. Police Department is here before you tonight to ask for approval to apply for the 2024 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant in the amount of $24,711. This is an annual opportunity for the police department to be part of this grant. Each year, the JAG authorities publish a list of recipients. We are one of them again, in the amount of $24,711. We're required to share a percentage of this amount with Leavenworth County, and the appropriation would be broken down to $10,000 for Leavenworth County, $14,711 for the city of Leavenworth. Typically with this grant, we use that to replace old equipment such as tasers or body cameras at the police department. No city funds would be involved in this, so there's no budget impact. So we would ask that you would authorize the police department to apply for the 2024 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant in the amount of $24,711. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have about it.
I remember we did this last year too,
Yeah.
you know, and it's great that we can get the money.
Can I ask why you need our permission just to apply for a grant? Is it across the board like that?
Yeah.
So as part of the provisions, some of the requirements are that the matter gets presented to the local governing body
Oh,
for
okay.
approval. That's a provision as part of the grant application process.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And there's a few documents that Mayor would
Yeah.
have to sign.
Okay, thank you for that.
Okay, do we know, just out of curiosity, what goes into determining the total amount that we receive?
I don't, probably all budgetary. It's varied quite a bit over the years, but maybe over the more recent years, it's hovered around the $30,000 mark.
Okay,
Last year was slightly higher.
sure. I don't have any other questions either. Commissioner Bowder, any questions?
No, sir.
Okay, then just need a motion.
I move that we give the police department authority to apply for the 2024 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant in the amount of $24,711.
Second.
Okay, a motion's been seconded, we'll begin voting with Commissioner Hengela.
Aye.
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 All right, motion passed 5-0. Thank you. Okay, resolutions. Item 6, Resolution B 2379, Capital Fund Program Grant for Planters 2.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you said, this is a resolution to accept the 2024 Capital Fund Program Grant for Planters 2. This is just our annual allocation from HUD that we received to make capital improvements over at the Planters 2 facility. This year, our amount is $209,449. And so we would just recommend that you adopt the attached resolution to the report.
Okay. Any questions?
No, sir.
Okay. Then we just need a motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt the attached resolution accepting the 2024 CFP grant for Planters 2.
Second.
Motion's been seconded. We'll begin voting with Commissioner Bowder.
Aye.
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 Motion passed 5-0. Item 7, Resolution B 2380, Capital Fund Program 5-Year Action Plan and Capital Fund Annual Statement for Planters 2.
Okay, thank you again. As you said, this is the 2024 to 2028 Capital Fund Program 5-Year Action Plan and our annual statement and performance and evaluation report. This goes along with the funds that you just approved us receiving. This is basically just our report to HUD telling them what we intend to do with the funds for the next 5 years. This year, we are undergoing a chiller replacement for the building, utilizing all of those funds. And so that's taking up all of those, that entire allocation. That's getting ready to start here shortly this fall. And then each year, Andrea Cheatham, our program manager over there, has a pretty large project laid out to utilize those funds, and that's all laid out in your report. And so again, we would just recommend that you approve the plan and authorize its submission to HUD.
Okay, thank you. Other questions on that?
No.
Okay, we just need a motion.
I move to approve the plan by adoption of resolution and authorize its submission to HUD.
Second.
Motion's been seconded. We'll begin voting with Commissioner Hengula.
Aye.
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 All right, motion passed 5-0. Thank you. From here, we'll go ahead and move on to Resolution B 2381, Community Development Block Grant Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report. Caper.
Mr. Mayor, permission, Julie McKeel will make this presentation.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor Martin, Commissioners. I'm here today this evening asking for you to approve the 2023 Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report. This is the annual report that is put together and submitted to HUD to explain to them by giving them narrative and data statistics on what we used the funds for throughout this last program year. This did go through the Community Development Advisory Board and was approved to bring here to you at that meeting on September 9th. We did have a public hearing. We abided by citizen participation by having it posted for the allotted amount of time and had available at the public library, online, and in the office. Some of the great accomplishments, because I know you guys do like to hear some of the good stuff that we do, okay? So we had a goal of 5 families being able to utilize the home ownership program, and 5 were fulfilled. There are a lot of great details all throughout this report, providing the statistics that come with this. I'm really happy about the blended statistics that we have. For example, with the home ownership, we had 3 female head of household, 2 families white, 2 families black, and 1 reported as other, and 1 household was reported as having 1 or more disabled in the home. Home repair, we had a goal of 11, and we obtained 13, 9 female heads of household, 8 white families, 3 black, 1 Hawaiian, 1 Asian and white. 7 households were reported to have 1 or more disabled persons, and 2 of those homes received some radon mitigation. Public service agency funds were utilized and helped serve 4,974 individuals right here in our city. Infrastructure project spent approximately $72,000 on Dakota from Cheyenne Curve to 4th Street, utilizing CDBG funds that definitely is needed in that area for the opportunity zone. Future plans are going to be in that zone, utilizing also data taken from Vision Zero. So if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them.
Thank you. Questions or comments?
No.
Great job.
Yeah.
Commissioner Bowder, anything?
No, I'm good, thanks.
Okay. All right, well, with that, we just need a motion.
I'll make a motion to consider and approve the resolution approving the 2023, is it CAPER? Is that what you call it? CAPER for submittal to the Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Second.
All right, motion's been seconded. We'll begin voting with Commissioner Bowder.
Aye.
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 All right, motion passed 5-0. Thank you. There we'll move on to item 9, Resolution B 2382, adoption of the first City Vision Zero Action Plan.
Hi there.
Good evening.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. This item tonight is to consider approval of Resolution 2382, adopting the city's Safe Streets and Roads for All Vision Zero Action Plan. In 2023, the city of Leavenworth was awarded a grant to develop the Vision Zero or Comprehensive Safety Action Plan. And on September 26th of 2023, the City Commission selected WSP to provide the professional services needed to help develop the plan. The purpose of Safe Streets for All is to improve roadway safety by significantly reducing or eliminating roadway fatalities and serious injuries. The grant program focuses on the development of a comprehensive safety action plan and its implementation for all users of our highways, streets, and roadways. The program provides funding to develop tools to strengthen a community's approach to roadway safety and save lives and prevent serious harm. For an action plan to be successful and accepted by the community, it is critically important that our residents be involved throughout the entire development process. Between online engagement with an interactive map to a project-specific email to ask questions, 7 pop-up meetings and an open house in August, the team of WSP and the city shared information with the public and received valuable input on areas where there were safety concerns. This input, combined with 10 years of crash data, identified 5 areas where our focus should be. Those are vulnerable road users, arterial streets and signalized intersections, impaired and distracted driving, young drivers, and speed. The plan developed by WSP and the city is a culmination of this effort over the last 12 months, and it identifies and prioritizes a set of Vision Zero street reconstruction projects and potential system-wide safety programs that the city can begin implementing as we move forward. By adopting the resolution tonight and adopting this plan, there is no budget impact. With that said, the city will be eligible for implementation grants once the plan is approved. The staff does recommend the City Commission adopt the first Vision Zero Action Plan by approving Resolution B 2382. This evening, Mr. David Church with WSP is here to highlight the findings and recommendations of the plan. I must say it's been a real pleasure to work with David and his team over the last year. Their knowledge and professionalism and willingness to interact with staff and our community throughout this process has made this a plan and project that the city should be proud of. And with that,
thank you. Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, pleasure to be here. I know you have a busy agenda, so I'll be run through this as quick as I can.
You're good.
So.
Yeah.
Here's the agenda. We've been working the past year, like Brian said, with the team here of city staff and consultant staff as well. But we also had a technical advisory committee that included a lot of community stakeholders, including the police department, Parks and Rec, and the school district, and other important folks. This was a year-long project, and we're right at the tail end of the project there in September. And we just recently submitted the First City Vision Zero Action Plan to the city, and it is posted on the city's website. It includes a Vision Zero pledge from the elected officials, acknowledgements, executive summary, and 4 chapters, including why Vision Zero, data and focus areas, toolbox of safety countermeasures, and then the implementation plan. It also includes 4 appendices, including public engagement summary, best practices, policy and process recommendations, and priority corridors and intersection profiles. So why Vision Zero? As I've presented before, in the last 10 years, there have been 17 people killed and 91 people seriously injured in the city of Leavenworth. And that trend is on the rise, and we're trying to get that to trend back down as close to zero as we can. Currently in Kansas, there's been 238 fatalities as of September 24th, and the goal is to try to minimize that as much as possible. We worked with the city to develop a project website, and got a lot of great feedback from folks that went to the website. We had 149 folks that answered this question: what do you think are the top 3 issues affecting your safety on roadway in Leavenworth? The top 3 were distracted driving, people driving too fast, and potholes. We had a lot of folks use the engagement map where they were able to go in and put a pin mark and post their either concern or comment about a certain area involving driving, walking, biking, or other. And we've spent the last year doing a lot of pop-up meetings, including some of the service organizations, and really meetings that were going on that we just attended and either presented or participated in. I always like to say this: the high injury network that we developed in Leavenworth shows that 58% of the fatal and serious injury crashes occur on just 9% of the streets in Leavenworth. So that was really our focus, was to focus in those areas. And as Brian said, there were 6 items that really stood out as areas to focus on that would make the biggest impact. Speeding was 1. Young drivers, 14 to 25. Vulnerable road users or bicyclists and pedestrians. Impaired driving, distracted driving, which are the same focus area. Arterials and signalized intersections, which really came together if you looked at the map. We also developed a toolbox of safety countermeasures, including roadway countermeasures, things like traffic calming, access management, and reallocating lanes, like 4-lane roads that don't need to be 4-lane roads could be converted to 3-lane, for instance. Intersections, including looking at utilizing roundabouts, curb radius reduction, and things to improve safety for pedestrians at intersections. Pedestrian countermeasures, including sidewalks and high quality pedestrian crossings, things that really increase awareness of pedestrians where they're crossing. And also behavioral countermeasures like high visibility enforcement. We worked with Sergeant Mance on a lot of things. Safe Routes to School plan is an opportunity for the city to have their plan updated. And finally, implementation plan. We focused on 3 things: safe speeds, safe streets, safe users, and came up with a variety of recommended countermeasures in those, including a traffic calming program, the use of more dynamic speed display feedback signs. For safe users, I'm proud to say that before this project and the county project, there were no high schools in Leavenworth County that are part of the SAFE program, which is a student-led program. And the school superintendent for Leavenworth High School is interested in having a SAFE program at Leavenworth High. Lansing High School, the same, and Tonganoxie, the same. And we're working to get other high schools in Leavenworth County with the SAFE program. Like I said, update to the Safe Route to School plan for the city, and also something that is low-hanging fruit, which is updating traffic signal timing and equipment. We feel like that can make a big difference in trying to prevent red light running and other things that are happening at your traffic signals. Pedestrian bicycle plan was something that a lot of the folks in the public were interested in. And as Brian said, if the city adopts the plan, it opens up opportunities to apply for federal funding to pay for these improvements, as well as other federal programs and local and regional funding sources. We identified priority corridors to focus on and priority intersections and came up with approximate cost of the recommended improvements. And each corridor came with a corridor profile describing the observations and the recommendations. And so as we wrap up, really all this is to achieve the goal of reducing fatal and serious injury crashes in Leavenworth by at least 50% by the year 2035. So with that, I just want to thank you for all the support the city's had, and hope that you're supportive of the plan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay.
I appreciate the list of grants there, and whether they're hard or not to get.
When are you gonna have it done? Yeah. Well, it looks like a pretty big undertaking, but.
It says right in there.
Oh, what she said.
Oh, yeah, it looks like a pretty big undertaking to follow through on all this, but I believe your department's ready to do it.
I think we are, and the great thing about the plan, it kind of lays out kind of that roadmap, and it doesn't all happen the first year.
Yeah.
I mean, we can start it and get the low-hanging fruit, and as we go through the CIP project or program each year, we can add these projects, whether it's the corridor or intersections, and work to make those improvements. And so I think it's really important. We don't want a plan that we spend a lot of money on and a lot of time and effort to sit on a shelf.
Mm-hmm.
We want to make these improvements that basically help, reduce the fatalities and serious injuries. So we're excited about that.
Well, Commissioner Bowder, any thoughts or questions?
Yeah, I'm glad to see the step-by-step plans with this year and what's, like you said, the low-hanging fruit to start out with. And I'm looking forward to seeing the rollout.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much for all the effort that went into that.
Fantastic.
So it's nice to see things come to a full circle, right? Okay, well then we just, if there's no other questions, just need a motion.
I move that the city commission adopt the first City Vision Zero action plan by approving resolution B-2382.
Second.
All right, motion's been seconded. We'll be in voting with Commissioner Bowder.
Aye.
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 All right, that's 5-0.
Thank
you
you
very
for your
much.
work. Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
that. Okay, we will move along then to bids, contracts, and agreements. Item 10, consider award of the 2024 to 2025 salt bid.
Unfortunately, it's that time of year, we've got to think about this again. This procurement is to procure up to 1,000 tons of de-icing salt. Public Works staff did replenish our salt supply this past spring and summer after the storms last year. However, a winter with a number of small events or a few large events, we can go through that material really quickly. Actually, in my opinion, the small events are worse. You get out there more frequently, you put a lot of material down. In previous years, we would request up to about 1,500 tons. but we currently are full. And with our use of salt brine that we started a couple years ago, we've really been able to reduce our salt usage. Leavenworth County did advertise salt bids for their needs, and their bid specifications do allow the cities in the county to piggyback along. Leavenworth had their bid opening on September 5th, and the county awarded the contract to the low bidder, Central Salt, and that's actually who we used last year also. And their bid price was $58.32 a ton, which is actually a little bit less than it was last year. That's one
That's
thing,
rare.
the price has actually gone down.
Wow.
As mentioned, we do use salt brine to pre-treat our streets. Salt brine is applied before storm events, and it actually helps melt the snow and ice from underneath. We initially started treating only our hotspot areas, but we've added a lot more equipment over the last 2 years, and so we have more capacity, and so as a result, we'll be pre-treating more streets going into this winter season. So the budget impact does depend on the severity of the winter season. Funding is available in 2025 to purchase all 1,000 tons. We won't do it if we don't need to. And so we just try to keep the salt dome full during the year. If we use, 500 tons during the year, that's all we'll purchase. But we want that authority to do up to 1,000 tons. The staff does recommend the City Commission approve the Leavenworth County bid for rock salt at $58.32 a ton for up to 1,000 tons from Central Salt LLC.
Okay, thank you. Any questions, comments on that item?
No, I was there last week when they, over at the county, when they approved this. They looked at it, got the low bid and said, go with it.
Yep, no, I don't have any questions either. So, pretty straightforward. We'll go ahead and start with a motion if we could.
I moved that the City Commission approved the Leavenworth County bid for rock salt at $58.32 a ton for up to 1,000 tons from Central Salt LLC.
Second.
All right, motion's been seconded. We'll begin voting with Commissioner Hengula.
Aye.
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 All right, motion passed 5-0. Thank you. All right, moving on to item 11, consider approval of the design build amendment for construction of Fire Station Number 3 and WPC Administrative Office.
Mr. Mayor, Commission, Mr. Faust will read through the policy report and overview that. We have a lot of guests here, Chief Birch from the Fire Department, several representatives from the Cause Construction Company. We'll be able to answer whatever question you might have. We're excited about being here tonight during Fire Prevention Week to talk about building us a new fire station and Mr. Faust's new admin building. So,
look at that timing. Okay.
Good evening. The city did previously program replacement of Fire Station 3 due to the age of the structure, energy inefficiencies, and to accommodate larger trucks, along with ADA and gender-based requirements. In addition to the fire station, the recent assessment of our wastewater treatment plant indicated a need for health and safety reasons to move our WPC administration offices. Currently, they are on the main floor with the belt press right above them. If you go into the building, you can definitely tell what they do there. The city did solicit qualifications from design build teams. Design build is where both the designer and contractor are part of the same team that works together for a cost-effective design and buildable structure. This is different than the design bid build process where the design is complete and then the construction is bid. In July of 2023, the City Commission approved an agreement with Julius Cause Construction for the initial design of the project. The designs for both Fire Station and WPC have been reviewed by staff, and the design build team has finalized construction costs based on these designs. The new fire station does include 3 full bays for fire equipment and will have an overall footprint of approximately 9,444 feet. We did include a picture of it in your packet. There are some pictures out front. We weren't sure how to name the fire station, so That was one thought. We passed on that.
Yeah, Gary, thumbs up.
So, so this is
Have
what
a
it will.
little fun with the fire chief, naming the fire department after a police officer. Excellent idea, sir.
So this is a view of what it'll look like, the 3 bays. This is the colors it will be. So this is kind of a 3D view of it. There's the front of the fire station, the sides and the back. Time to complete the construction of the fire station is set at 425 days, once the city does issue a notice to proceed. The WPC structure is approximately 2,300 square feet, and that construction schedule is roughly 270 days. The 2024 CIP includes $4.5 million for the fire station, funded by bond proceeds, and an additional $775,000 from the sewer fund for the WPC admin building. The cost submitted by cost for construction of Fire Station 3 is $4.898 million. This equates to $519 per square foot based on the building. Budget was 4.5. However, $5 million was borrowed for the project, which will be sufficient to cover the cost of construction. The cost for the construction of the new WPC admin building is $754,000. This equates to $318 a square foot. This is within the budgeted amount. Construction cost shown is a guaranteed maximum price. There's also a liquidated damages clause in the amendment if the contract is exceeded. As the fire department will be displaced during construction, damages are set at $1,000 per day. Impacts to operations at WPC are more limited, and damages are set at $250 a day. The commission can elect to approve the contract amendment between the city and Julius Cause, or the commission can reject the agreement. Staff does recommend the commission approve the amendment between the city and Julius Cause Construction for the construction of Fire Station number 3 and the WPC administration building at the guaranteed maximum prices defined in the amendment, and authorize the mayor to sign the agreement.
Thank you.
No additional comments unless you have questions. Again, there's representatives from Cause Construction, Chief Birch is here. We're glad to answer whatever questions what you have about the process and how we ended up here. But again, as Mr. Faust said, we recommend moving forward.
Okay. This has been, when did we originally, was this? February, October last year?
July of 2023.
Been a little while, right?
You know what, okay. Any major like changes, Mr. Faust, to like original bid and now or anything like that notable?
Well, this is one of the ones where we had a budgeted amount, and so the design build teams that we talked to had looked at what we wanted and looked at that amount and felt they could either hit it or be very close to that amount. And so that initial design phase was kind of that concept of what, from a fire department or for WPC, what do you guys want? What do you guys need to function? And so there was that process of back and forth between us and the cause team of laying out different designs and looking what we could afford. And so we narrowed it down to this 3-bay, 9,400 square foot fire station that was just within that budget, just under $5 million, and similar with WPC. So
okay.
It was kind of an iterative process.
Okay. Okay.
Couple of questions.
I have a question.
Oh. Go ahead, Commissioner Bowder.
I don't have any problem with the contract or anything. It looks really good. The look of the station looks good from the pictures. I just have a question. Originally, they talked about having a drive-through all the way through from the front to back. Was that discarded because of the size of the lot? Or is that still happening? It's hard to me to tell from the drawing.
No, it's actually via back end. The original hope was to be able to pull through. I think with size of the lot and the configuration of the building, we're also fighting floodplain issues. The fire station has to be outside of the floodplain, and just to the south of this, there's the floodplain. So there's space limitations.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any other questions. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Mr. Faust, it says here it'll be 9,444 square feet. do you have an idea of how big is the fire station that exists now? I'm just wondering how much bigger is it gonna be?
The one that's there now,
Yeah.
and I don't know right offhand, it's quite a bit smaller though.
Okay.
Mr. Engel, don't hold me to this, but I think I remember somebody saying around 5,800 square feet, maybe 55, something like that. So I think that we
It's
can
on the
look.
record now.
We'll send that to you, but somewhere
No,
in the.
that's okay.
Significantly
That's okay.
bigger. Yeah.
The only other question I had was, and I can't find the exact terminology used, but when does will proceed go for it? When does that begin? If we say yes tonight, or is that 30 days from now, it'll be go ahead and
As
proceed?
far as the fire station, there are a number of things that have to occur first.
Right, so the very first thing that we need to do is to demo the old one. That's the first major project, and that'll be a separate process, not included as the cost construct. We are gonna hire someone to demo that. In addition to that, Chief Birch and his team are working on alternative locations for the fire team while the building is being built. So those things are happening, but when that's done and we give the notice to proceed, that's when the clock starts ticking.
Okay.
But from WPC's perspective, we're ready to go. We don't have to relocate anything, so that one's
Yeah.
ready to go this evening.
Good, thank you.
Any comments? Okay, I just remember there was, original size was gonna be, thought it was gonna be a little bit different, a little bit bigger, and it changed some, so, I didn't know if you had any comments on that, or if it's just, you know, like, you talked about size limitations and the process and everything, so you guys are good with the size.
I'll talk about that, Mr. Mayor. So a little bit of leeway, if you might. I came into the process around April, when I was appointed interim city manager. I think there was quite a bit of discussion about the size of the building, comparatively speaking to the cost of the building. And although it would have been sort of utopia, it was just simply too expensive to build something that big. We then really got focused on almost nothing but the budget for a while. And so I was a little bit concerned that we were building the fire station that was a little bit too small.
Yeah, the internet
Because we
now.
were just simply
You
focused
should have
entirely
it,
on the
keep
budget.
asking me if I wanna log in.
Right. So, when I was appointed interim city manager, we got back everybody together, got back on track, and it was my direction at that point that we need to focus more on building the fire station that we need. This is a 40-year commitment, and so be a little less concerned about the budget. Wouldn't dismiss that entirely, but certainly we needed to build the right fire station. And so, after a while, we had a lot of discussion, a lot of hard work by everybody. That's where we sort of landed on. The other piece of the process is we had already bonded for $5 million. And so that would have been quite a convoluted process to stop that and start that over and redo that. So I feel like we landed on right where we needed to be, right fire station, right size, and right amount of money for everything that we could do for the parameters that we had. And so I think that's why we're all here. I think we're good now.
Okay, all right, thank you for that, Chief, appreciate that. Okay, well, I don't have any other questions right now then. If we're good, just need a motion.
I'll make a motion that the commission approve the amendment between the city and Cause Construction for the construction of Fire Station Number 3 and for the WPC Administration Building at the guaranteed maximum price defined in the amendment and authorize the mayor to sign the agreement.
Second.
All right, motion's been seconded, we'll begin voting with Commissioner Bowder.
Aye.
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 All right, motion passed 5-0. Thank you very much. First consideration ordinances, let's see, item 12, for special use permit to allow a daycare center at 1830 South Broadway Street.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. As you said, this is a special use permit request to allow operation of a daycare center, 1830 South Broadway. This is the former Council on Aging building. The property is currently zoned RMX, which is Residential Mixed Use District. It was rezoned a few years ago, and the owner is looking at a few options, trying to figure out what to do with the building, but he does have a tenant who is currently getting her daycare set up in there. So the daycare operator is licensed through Kansas, care for a maximum of 12 children. Daycare centers in the RMX district do require a special use permit. So the planning commission considered this at on their September 9th meeting. There were no individuals that spoke during the meeting, and the planning commission did recommend approval of the special use request by a vote of 4-0. Prior to that meeting, we did send out notice to property owners within 200 feet of the property, as is required by state statute. We received no questions or comments from any of the individuals that were notified. So staff would recommend approval of the special use permit request based on the analysis and findings included in your report and subject to the stipulations that are put in there. And if you have any questions, I am happy to answer those for you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wasn't the owner gonna do something else with this property?
A couple of things.
There's been a number of options. He's looked at doing multifamily in the building. He's looked at developing, new construction townhomes, single family on the rest of the property. I think it's about 14 acres. There's quite a bit of room to do stuff. So, he's looked at all the options, and that's why he rezoned it to RMX initially, because that's gonna give really the most flexibility in terms of doing a mix of residential and office or commercial uses. So he's still trying to figure it out as far as I know. But like I said, he does have this tenant who is happy to operate the daycare center in there for the time being.
Is this going to occupy the whole building?
No, it is in just the south end of the building, closest to the street on the south. And so I'm not sure exactly how much space she's occupying, but the bulk of the building is still open.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions? All right, if not, we just need a motion. Oh, actually, just a consensus. Are we all good?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay,
Nancy, you good?
cool. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Moving on from here to the consent agenda.
Excuse me. Mr. Mayor, I move that the commission approve claims for September 6th, 2024 through September 19th, 2024 in the amount of $2,197,197.57. Net amount for payroll number 18 effective September 6th, 2024 in the amount of $395,075.09. No police or fire pension.
Second.
All right, just, we'll begin voting with Commissioner Hengela.
Aye.
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 All right, motion passed 5-0. Thank you for that. And before we move into executive session, we'll just go around the table.
Mr. Mayor, Commission, you might have seen this in the newspaper, but I want to reiterate to you and the community that the decision to have the Veterans Day Parade, it will be downtown in its normal route. There was some discussion and potential for delay because of the construction on 4th Street, but we're satisfied that they'll be far enough along that we can have it downtown. There may be some minor tweaks to the route, but it will be downtown on November 11th. That's it.
Okay, thank you. And Commissioner Browder?
Yeah, sorry I couldn't be there for the Camp Leavenworth. I saw pictures and it looked like it was a wonderful thing. So, congratulations on Camp Leavenworth and hope to see you next time.
Thank you.
I'll just echo Commissioner Bowder's remarks about Camp Leavenworth. I want to thank all the departments because it was kind of a joint effort to get that up and running, and it was fantastic. And so sad again that the rain caught us at the end, but we got almost there. So thank you for everybody. It was amazing. It was awesome, and I really appreciate the local vendors, the local food trucks that we were able to bring this year to make it more of a local festival. So I appreciate that. So thank you.
All right. Commissioner
Yeah, let me echo that too. Thanks to everybody who worked on this thing. A big undertaking to get that much going and to have it go for a whole day and a half. I thought it went really, really well. Some of the music was really good. I was very impressed. In addition to that, though, I attended, I think it was just yesterday, a Cybertech EMP and our water infrastructure planning symposium. It doesn't sound like something that we got to worry about immediately. It's something that we need to worry about immediately. There's possibilities to having our water systems just get attacked and destroyed within a flash. It doesn't take much to do it. So I encourage everybody to get interested in their water supplier. You know, here we have Leavenworth's water system, but other places not far away, like the Landell water system, those folks, get in contact with the boards, the water boards in your town or city, and see what you can do to help. Thank you.
Thanks, Ed.
I just want to say thank you to everybody that came out and participated in Camp Leavenworth, and for all the staff members that made it fun, fantastic, and fabulous. It was definitely a huge success. And then just special prayer just for all the schools throughout our nation, just praying for just peace, healing, and protection. God bless and have a great week.
And it was a good time. Camp Leavenworth, man, I don't know what the final count was, but we had, over 1,800 folks that walked in Friday night.
Yeah, we'll calculate all that stuff and have a final report, but I think the tally was somewhere 4,500, maybe 5,000 total.
Okay,
So we'll get
cool.
that to you though.
No, that's cool. I'd like to also just kind of get it out there. You'll be seeing more on this coming up, but October 28th will be our City of Leavenworth Business Symposium. This will be our third annual this year, so definitely want to spread the word on that. And with that, we'll go ahead and I'll make a motion to move the city commission to recess into executive session for a period of 10 minutes. Okay, period of 10 minutes for the purpose of discussing a personnel matter under the justification to discuss personal matters of non-elected personnel, KSA 754319B1. The city commission, interim city manager, and human resources director will be present. The open meeting will resume in the city commission chambers at 7:07 p.m. I just need a second.
Second.
And we'll begin voting with Commissioner Hingula.
Aye.
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 All right.
Are we taking Nancy with us?
Yes.
Okay. I would like to welcome us back then to our open meeting here.
Oh, and I'd like to make a motion. I move to authorize the mayor to sign an employment contract with Scott Peterson as the city manager for the city of Leavenworth commencing on November the 4th, 2024.
Second.
All right, motion's been seconded. We'll begin voting with Commissioner Bowder.
Aye.
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 All right, motion passed 5-0. We'll be welcoming in our new
Welcome.
manager.
Welcome Scott Peterson.
That's right. Okay, more to come. And just need now a motion to close our meeting.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.